Grab a cup of tea or a glass of wine and tune in for Inspired Conversations with publisher Linda Joy. On Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern, Linda creates sacred space for leading female luminaries, empowering authors, heart-centered female entrepreneurs, coaches, and healers. A soulful venue where guests openly share the fears and obstacles they've overcome, wisdom and lessons learned, and the personal journey that led them to the transformational work they do in the world. Inspired Conversations to empower you on your path to authentic, soulful living.
Welcome to Inspired Conversations. I'm your host, Linda Joy, publisher of Aspire Magazine, the premier inspirational magazine for women that I am excited to say is celebrating 10 years this year, 10 years of inspiring women to live their best lives. I'm also the 7-time best-selling publisher behind the boutique publishing company, InspiredLivingPublishing.com, which is dedicated to giving visionary female entrepreneurs, coaches, and health practitioners a voice and a high-profile media and publishing platform to share their wisdom, enhance their expert status, and bring that brand and message out of the shadows. All of my brands, including this show, are dedicated to inspiring women to live deeper, more authentic, and inspired lives. So welcome, welcome. So I have a question for you. Are you ready to step into your power, strength, and truth, and believe at the deepest level of your soul in your worthiness? When you learn to tap into the energy of sacred empowerment principles of Shakti Power and turn on your feminine light, you can improve every aspect of your life. And that's what we're going to be talking about today with my dear friend, Zinnia Gupte. Zinnia is an inspirational, best-selling author, speaker, priestess, and sacred dancer who helps women embrace their sacred feminine power. She's the Amazon best-selling author of Messages from Shakti and the best-selling co-author of Inspiration for a Woman's Soul, Cultivating Joy, and the Inspiration for a Woman's Soul, Opening to Gratitude and Grace, as well as other titles from Inspired Living Publishing. Zinnia is also a contributor to the popular book series 20 Beautiful Women. She's the host of the very popular Shakti Power podcast on iTunes and offers mentorship, group coaching, free talks, and workshops about her signature process, Shakti Power. Her courses are designed to help women reimagine their lives and generate more power. And today she joins me to talk about the 4 sacred empowerment principles of personal power. Welcome, beautiful.
Hello, Linda. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. And once again, it's always an honor to partner with you, to speak with you. It's very exciting for me to continue this journey of inspiring and empowering women.
Oh, I love the work you're doing in the world. Remember when we first met, it was just, I was drawn to your words and then and how you show up in the world. And then we got to know each other on a deeper level through working together and me publishing your intimate stories. And I've been inspired by you because of your journey and the way that you have chose to take one of the most painful aspects of your life and use it really as a path to transformation. And you're still going through it, like we all are, right? So,
absolutely.
So let's talk about, first let's define what Shakti Power is for our listeners.
Oh, I love this part. I love defining it because, Shakti is, I'm Indian, and Shakti is part of my lineage. So I grew up with this. My mother, my aunts, my cousins, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, my great-great-grandmother, my great-great-great-grandmother, they all know about this. It's in our bones. It's in our blood. Now my mission and my message is to share this beautiful and universal truth in the U.S., in the Western world, and the wider world. And so it's really beautiful to speak about Shakti in a way that is simple to understand because I want as many people to understand this. So Shakti is the female face of God. She is the creativity, the beauty, the strength, the grace of divine, the divinity that flows through us. And when we can honor our gifts and creatively express ourselves and, really turn on that feminine radiance from a place of feminine authority, our creative gifts, our feminine voice, our feminine power, we're really stepping in to this feminine beauty. And I keep saying feminine is because it's a very soft power. It's not controlling and dominating and manipulative. It's a very graceful power. Shakti knows who she is. She's a dancer. She's a creator. She created the universe. And she dances with the divine masculine. She's fully in her power. She's awakened. She's awakened to her manifesting power. She's awakened to her creative sexual power. She's awakened to her intuitive power. And she's awakened to her personal power. And when a woman can turn on all facets of her power like that, she too can be awakened. And then she partners up with the divine, a divine man, and he too awakens. So it's good for all. It's just good news, all around good news for everyone, for you to step into this very soft and wise and ancient feminine power. And so Shakti is the feminine face of God. She is strength, power, beauty, and grace.
And I love that because you define, when you hear the word power, you automatically go, oh, that masculine energy, but your description was exactly the opposite. So it's standing in the feminine, which is the softness of the power, and knowing that that's enough. That is powerful. We don't need to step into the masculine.
No, and that's what we've been doing. That's part of my story, as you know, as I've published in so many of your beautiful best-selling books, is I burnt out standing in my masculine for years, for decades. I burnt myself out because willpower can only take you for so long in a feminine body. Our bodies are designed to rest and relax because we're producing, we're giving birth, we're giving life to children, to projects. We are in tune with the moon cycles. We have our own cycles. And our bodies are constantly changing and shedding and, rebirthing themselves every month. So that requires a lot of rest, a lot of retreating, a lot of rejuvenation, and, nourishing our bodies, giving it vitamins and nutrients, meditation, yoga, just tons and tons of relaxation. The masculine can just run, They can just go and go and go. They don't need that much rest and relaxation. So when a woman forgets, the original design of her body, of her intuition, and that she's a constant receiver of information and energy, she's constantly receiving. She has to clean that out and rest and pause and kind of withdraw. When she forgets that kind of sacred self-care and the softness of her being and the softness of her body, and she steps into the go, go, go of the masculine, she'll burn herself out. And I burn myself out. And then it takes such a long time to, regain that energy. And the burnout can happen with fatigue, with, adrenaline, adrenal fatigue, I think, with so many body issues that start to creep up. So only being in your masculine won't serve you in the long term.
No, and I think like you said, there's so many of us on the path, because I was there too. I'm older than you are, but I can remember a time, I'd say it was probably in my 30s and early 40s, where I needed outside validation to prove my worth. And I was in business back then, too, and I remember everything I did was, I didn't see it then, of course, we never do, but it was a striving energy, right? Like if I do this,
right.
If I donate my time to this shelter or do this with my business, then I will be worthy. Well, it wasn't until I, like you, almost put myself in the ground and started this spiritual journey that I realized that being and doing, that's the masculine and the feminine, right? We always have to be and we always have to do. We have to have some of both. But when you're too far either way, that's when chaos comes. And that's what happened to me. I was too far in the masculine striving and had to heal my stories.
Oh, wow.
Did you notice that on your journey too? Because I know that you're in corporate America. I was doing this sacred work that you're doing in the world, and you're balancing two worlds.
Absolutely, and I totally resonate with your story and what you're bringing up, because let's see, it's just such a journey to be in your sovereign all the time, And what happened is when I was only in the masculine, only getting a validation from the outside world, only looking at my title, only looking at things I could possess that would show the world, look, I have this, I have an education, I have a degree, I have 2 degrees, I'm working in the best companies, I have this title, my parents are from this, we live here. In my heart, I felt rejected. In my heart, I still didn't feel worthiness. So on the outside, I looked great, and the world would say, bravo. But on the inside, that's where I was getting torn apart. That's where the true, authentic feminine wasn't coming through. And so when I went through my divorce and when I went to an island in Spain called Ibiza just to kind of withdraw from the world and get to know myself again and surrender because there was so much pain. And I just wanted to surrender myself to anyone out there who was helping me. And so the divine voice, the divine force that came through said, dance. And I said, okay, so I just lost my home, my husband, a job, a city I've been living in, and you want me to dance? And the voice said again, dance. And as I danced, in the community, at weddings, in shows for Indian and Bollywood dancers, in workshops, at healing festivals, I found joy again. And I found that I didn't have to do anything anymore. I could just be myself, love who I was in my skin, because there was this fountain of love and joy that kept bubbling up inside of me every time I danced. And I didn't need a title, and I didn't need a car, and I didn't need a home, and I didn't need a career and occupation for people to say, oh, look, she's someone. I was just able to connect at my deepest core with myself, and that brought me so much joy. And that was the moment for me. That was it. That was the moment when I said, I'm enough. Yes. Whatever I do, as long as I bring joy into it and love into it and grace and beauty into it, it's going to become beautiful because I'm bringing my strength and beauty. So now it's an inside-out job, right? It's not first I have to get this and do this, then I will be this. It's the paradigm for me now is I am this. I am beauty. I am worthy. I am enough. Whatever I touch is going to grow into something beautiful just as I am. So that was the paradigm shift for me, which you're also saying, happened for you. And I think that's the paradigm
and I think
a lot of women right now.
Zinnia, it's so true. It's happening to so many women in my community, and we're going to talk more about that when we come back from our break. And we'll be back in a moment with Zinnia Gupte of ShaktiPriestess.com.
A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Beautiful one, if you're living your life by default and feeling disempowered, disconnected, and disenchanted, it's time to tap into your goddess power and use that divine energy to create the magical life of your dreams. As part of the Goddess Lifestyle Alchemy program, creatrix Lisa Marie Rosati guides you through the 12 aspects of your life while tapping into the archetypes, the 4 elements, the divine, and practical magic. By connecting to the divine and working with universal laws, your life suddenly shifts from going through the motions and struggles to seeing divine love and purpose in all aspects of your life. If you're ready to design your magical life, visit Lisa at GoddessLifestylePlan.com for an abundance of supportive resources.
Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at OMTimes Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. OMTimes Advisors, connecting you with the best advisors in the business.
Do you have time to read that inspiring book or that blog post you've been meaning to get to? In your busy world, how do you improve yourself and keep your life going? I'm Lisa Kay, and my Between Heaven and Earth radio show can transform your life just by listening. Be uplifted with inspiring topics, positive stories, and ideas that really work. Between Heaven and Earth radio is conscious living for your soul, every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
Hey, America, we need to have a little talk. We've got more food than we know what to do with in this country, yet 17 million kids in America are struggling with hunger. Makes no sense. Luckily, the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks has volunteers gathering excess food and getting it to hungry kids. They're kind of like food angels. Hey, become a food angel yourself by supporting Feeding America in your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. We can't do it without your help. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
This is OTR-FM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
Hi, you're listening to Inspired Conversations. This is your host, Linda Joy, and we're going to dive right back into our sacred conversation with Zinnia Gupte of ShaktiPriestess.com. And right before the break, Zinnia, we were talking about that moment that I know so well because I've published your beautiful stories. But it was that moment after your divorce when you, as you shared, you left for Ibiza, Spain. And just hearing what you were just describing a moment ago, it was about you reconnecting with your joy. And I want to talk about that because I think so many women, what's happened is they're disconnected from that essence. They're so caught up in the doing energy that self-care and even listening to their body or soul is at the end of their to-do list. So when you arrived in Ibiza, you were right there. You were at the end of your to-do list. You were depleted spiritually, emotionally, and energetically. But then I could hear the energy shift as you told me about when you started honoring yourself. I could feel the transformation coming. So let's talk about that a little more for the women who are still struggling with honoring themselves. So as you started dancing, did you notice that everything else started to shift in your life as you allowed more joy in?
Oh, absolutely. Because that joy had power. That joy had abundance. That joy had manifesting ability. So I began embodying the joy, and really becoming the joy, not looking for the joy and finding the joy. The joy was flowing through me. And this came over time, and I started to identify joy with power. Joy is power. And, where is my power hiding? So I was searching for this inner space, a sacred power. And it was inside of me all along, buried, waiting to be awakened. And I remember one night in Ibiza, I stood at the edge of the cliffs, and there was, hundreds of feet below, the ocean was pounding on the shore. And I felt electric, and just dancing on the edge of that cliff to feel alive again, and to hear my heartbeat below the stars of the waves crashing. My whole body pulsed and vibrated, and it convulsed and just spontaneously orgasmed. And, it felt like I was orgasming for hours. And so the more I connected, the more I ate fresh salad, the more I walked in nature, the more I sang, the more I danced, the more I connected to my body, the more I let myself go and just fell in love with my feminine voice and the dancing again. Because as a child, I had danced, and it stopped because I was told I was not going to make money from the dancing. So we're kind of conditioned is, if I'm not going to make money through this, if this isn't practical, don't do it. So all these things I left to do as a child that brought me joy had nothing to do with making money. It was just a part of being and expressing myself and honoring myself. And I think that women, we need to get back to that. Not everything is about making money. Not everything is about the outcome. Not everything is about the end goal. So much of a woman's beauty and life force and strength is about just honoring the temple of her being, which is radiance. Something that women have that men do not have is feminine radiance. They can't create radiance. They look to women for that. So when we burn ourselves out by doing, we lose that light. We lose that joy, that sacred space, that inner space that only we have access to, and we lose that radiance. So when a woman awakens her power, that power flows through her body. So you see, women feel and express power in a very different way than men do. And, a woman not in her power, what that looks like is she becomes powerlessness. When a woman pushes her feminine energy underground, that power has no expression, no direction to flow. In the very act of denying her power, a woman becomes powerlessness. And so, a woman not in her power will not express her full self because she doesn't want to threaten others. A woman not in her power has a high tolerance for poor treatment from others. So she'll resort to nurturing and emotional caretaking. She may not be coming from a belief of that joy and abundance flowing through her. So she becomes competitive with other women. It's also easy to become rigid, dominating, and then you're also susceptible to eating disorders, depression, and addiction. But a woman in her feminine power, this is what she looks like. She actually feels like a woman. She feels an electric force of power flowing through her body. She trusts herself and feels confident. A woman in her power exudes a sense of magnetism, and she commands attention. She feels beautiful inside, at any age, at any height, weight, girth. She's comfortable in her own body, and she glows with light and vitality because she's enough. And when a woman like this is in her power, and she feels empowered and feminine at the same time, she magnetizes with ease. Her desires just flow to her. So she's not hustling and exerting a lot of effort the way we do when we're in our masculine. So I just wanted to paint those two pictures, those two scenarios of when we're not in our feminine power and what that looks and feels like, and when we are in our power. So, does that
I think
resonate?
sometimes having that description allows us to feel into it, right? And it's an almost intuitive, like, where's my energy? And when because I know you've been in the corporate world for a long time, that experience in Ibiza, is that what started to seed your dream of being, doing the work you're doing to empower women? Because you launched your book, your brand, everything. But was it that transformational experience that brought that out in you?
Oh, absolutely. The moment that I was invited to teach this dance at a healing workshop called Healing Ibiza, I was choreographing, well, not even choreographing, I was leading a workshop, and I didn't know what to even expect. And I walked into the room. I had laid out a journey of music for the women, and I started dancing, and I took those women on a journey. And after 45 minutes, they were crying. They said, Zinnia, there's electrical shocks coming out of my hands. There's heat flowing through my body. What's happening to me? And I said, that's your power. That's your kundalini. That's your Shakti. You're awakening it. You're awakening repressed years of emotions, long buried, unawakened emotions. And so for me, that was the moment, because we could all feel it. It wasn't just me. I could feel it. We could feel it. There was a force in the room, Shakti, and I was meant to teach it. And because I had healed from the divorce, and I had started dancing across the Mediterranean, being invited all over, within 1 year, I was being interviewed on magazines and podcasts and TV around dance and the teachings of Shakti. And women were coming to me. They wanted to feel that power. They wanted to know how to hold that power. And so I was guided to say and to believe that if I could transform from a divorce, from a powerless victim-centered woman, with victimizing beliefs and self-limiting beliefs, and if I could become a woman who is healthy again and healed and teaching other women and to come alive into their bodies, then this is part of my destiny. This is what I'm meant to do. This is the work I'm meant to do. And so eventually the work that I was doing in the dance workshops and in Ibiza, I brought it back to the U.S., to New York, and those messages, the philosophies, the teaching went into the books and into the podcasts and into workshops. So the transformation is absolutely a result and the fruit of my healing from the divorce and coming back into my feminine power. And I bring that feminine authority and voice into the corporate world, because the corporate world is still quite masculine. It's a numbers game. It's about hierarchy, who knows better, who's higher up in the ladder. But I still bring my softness, and I invite people around me to really look at, is this the best thing to do for everyone? I empower my whole team so that I am not one leader. I delegate to them. I look at their gifts. I look at the strength of the whole team, of the whole. So I bring those feminine gifts and that feminine authority and that feminine voice. I'm not afraid to be soft, because my patience in the corporate world really shines through. So I really do believe, and I'm a testament that I have a growing, thriving business that's based on the feminine model. And while I'm still, transitioning from a full-time occupation in the corporate world, I bring the truth of myself to that world as well. I'm not one and the other. I'm fully who I am.
That's what I love, because I tell a lot of women who are like you, who have one foot in each world, right? Because it's a gift that you have such a successful corporate career that allows you to follow this passion and gift and message that you're here to share with the world. But I love that you found the strength to stay true to who you are in the feminine, even when you're in the midst of the masculine, right? Because that's when a lot of women get lost. They feel like, I don't know how to maintain this feminine power and inner strength when I have to go back in that world. But the truth is, we have to be able to do that to exist in the world, because a lot of the world is masculine. So the transformation and the change we can inspire in others is when they see us walk in both worlds.
Yes, and, I was not meant to. I was very upset when I had to leave Ibiza. I was so sad. I was like, this is Mother Nature. This is paradise. There's oceans and mountains and trees and hills and softness and great food and relaxation and tranquility. Why do you want me to leave this? And it was because what you just said. I have to be that role model and show women that we have to walk in our feminine power in all worlds. We can't just hide away in one world where we're only understood by other women. We have to bring that grace and beauty and patience and trust and intuition and show the whole world that, yes, this too has power, and this too is a path that, has results. It's not just one way. It's two ways coming together, producing something even more magical than the one path could ever have, created on its own.
Yeah, because it's you just nailed it. It's your almost like your duty to show the corporate world and those that are coming to your energy and that role that you play there, that it is possible to have a successful career in that world without stepping into the masculine.
Absolutely.
Right?
And
which is about pushing, striving, competition, and holding space there, because that energy can then permeate and touch others that are on that path. And we're going to talk about that more when we come back in a moment. And you're listening to Inspired Conversations with Linda Joy and my special guest, Zinnia Gupte of ShaktiPriestess.com.
Free your mind. Expand your soul. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Are you ready to experience the unshakable love and unleashed passion you really want? Great news! Discover what thousands of people are doing to transform their relationships in ways they never thought possible. And your partner does not need to participate in the process to enjoy the results you want in your relationship. Relationship expert and Aspire magazine columnist Stacey Martino and her husband Paul are the founders of relationshipdevelopment.org and Relationship U. They have successfully empowered thousands of clients with tools and strategies that really work to transform their relationship. Any relationship. And your partner does not even need to participate for their proven system to work for you. Transforming your relationship is possible, and it begins with you. Take the first step and visit relationshipdevelopment.org today.
OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Hi everyone, this is Shay Parker, the host of Best of the Best, which airs live right here on IOM Radio every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Pacific. I'm super excited to bring you expert guest hosts, spiritual discussions, free psychic readings, and so much more. I can promise that you will not want to miss this one-of-a-kind, fun, yet touching, down-to-earth show. Join us every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific on OTR-FM. This is Shay Parker, and I can't wait to see you there.
The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. Free your mind. Expand your soul. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Welcome back to Inspired Conversations. This is Linda Joy, and we're going to pick up with this beautiful conversation that I'm having with Zinnia. And we were talking about how to stay in your feminine power once you do tap into and discover it, even when sometimes the world's coming at you with quite different energy. And I know for some women, and I've been there too, where it's almost like we think, okay, well, I have to step into this masculine role because that's what's expected of me. Well, you can't keep disconnecting from the truth of who you are to fit into the roles that others expect you to play. And that was the greatest insight I have found on my own path of healing is, Linda, just be you. Just show up. I'm love and joy. That's who I am. And you know what? If I want to create and lead a business from that place, even when others say, well, you need to do A, B, C, and D, well, guess what? My heart feels good when I lead with love and joy and leave the rest up to the divine.
Yes,
I already
absolutely.
tried the other way, in my first business back in the 90s. And this way feels so much, and you got to experience it because we've worked together, Zinnia. It feels so much more aligned. And do you guide women with that? Like, stop going in and out of your role, of your femininity, just to please others or try to fit into a certain situation?
Oh, absolutely. Oh my gosh, you're singing my song right now. Like that's the true teaching of Shakti. That's the true teaching of Shakti Power is hold your power. Be in your power. Claim that power, right? And there's so many women who are like, oh, but I'm great at work, but in my family, I'm a little girl again. And so I say to my clients and to my friends and to my community, speak up. Why are your needs not being met by your family? Why are they still treating you like a little girl? You are an adult. So you demand that you are treated as an adult, not a child, right? So speak up, have your needs met. Women have a very difficult time asking for what they want. We tiptoe around it. Maybe this person will give this to me. Maybe I'll get that permission. You ask for it. You say, I have these skills. I've been here for this long. In the workplace, I've contributed this. I deserve this, and I'm going to fight for it. And I really would love for you to champion me and be my mentor. We have to learn how to speak like that and claim it. No one's going to give anything to us, So we really have to claim our power and stop asking for permission to be good enough. And that's when you speak up and you ask for promotions in the workplace. That's when you speak up within dysfunctional families and you say, I'm not doing this pattern anymore. I'm a grown woman, and you're going to treat me with respect. Here are my boundaries. Those boundaries are crossed. Here are the consequences. And you can say that with love. You can say that without any resentment.
It's honoring yourself, because no one else is going to honor you until you start honoring yourself. And that was another one of my lessons. But Zinnia, like, I'm noticing, I don't know if you're noticing the same with your clients, because I'm not sure of their age range, but I see women, I think especially 50s and 60s, that are really have ingrained scripting of that they have to live according to others' expectations. It's almost like it was culturally ingrained in that age group. Never mind if we go into the 70s and 80s, it's even deeper.
Sure.
Now, the women that come to you, I'm noticing in my own community that women are awakening to this younger and younger. I see some in their mid-30s they're getting on the path of personal and spiritual development a lot sooner. And then the 40s, they're going, yes, and they're waking up in the middle of their life saying, oh, I am so done living by someone else's rules or expectations. Are you noticing a certain age range of women coming to you who are like almost, I call it awakening. It's like, holy shit, how did I get in here? This isn't the life I envisioned.
Yes, you're so right on, Linda. This is what I love about you. You just have this intuitive ability to pick up on, women's and groups patterns, but also generational. And I think that's a really keen insight because the women that you mentioned in their 50s and 60s, that's coming from this baby boomer generation where, like you said, it's very ingrained in them and they're scripted to live by others' expectations. The women that are coming to me are younger. I'm actually having girls come to me, teenagers, women in their early 20s,
Yay.
30s, mid-40s. So that's my age group right now that's coming to me. And what they're going through is they're completely lost. They're completely confused because they're bombarded by social media, and everybody wants to be famous. Everybody wants to have their own business. Everyone wants to have this lifestyle. I'm traveling the world. I'm living at home. But I always ask them, what brings you joy? What brings you joy?
They can't answer.
When was the last time you, and they can't answer.
Wow.
But they say to me, well, but I'm doing all these. So I don't think there's that much of a difference between the generation and the community you're working with and who I'm working with. I think it's the same problem over and over again with a different mask.
But it's so hopeful, Zinnia, that they're coming to you that young because the cycle will stop.
Yes.
See,
because they're burning out faster. It's not taking them 10 years. It's taking them 10 months to burn out.
And I believe it's because the world's moving, as you said, faster and faster, and social media coming at these young people nonstop, which really takes away and has them judging themselves against the paradigm that they'll never win, right? Because the media is bombarding them. So I love that more and more younger women. I was curious because I had a feeling that they're waking up sooner, which gives me hope for the future that more and more women are going to be embracing the feminine and honoring themselves. And I want to say this. I don't know if you've ever run into this, but sometimes people go, I don't get what the feminine is. I don't get what Shakti Power is. I don't get what it means to be on the path. What it means with no labels is living authentically, following your joy, honoring your sacred contracts, but in tapping into your inner wisdom and your connection with the divine, right? So that's living a beautiful, whole, inspired life. And then you add in the layers that you talked about, Zinnia, which is when you honor yourself, others will honor you, right? So that's the empowerment piece, is when you come into your own, it gets reflected back out around your relationship, your business, your life, and every other part. But that's what it means to me to be on the path. Do you agree with, or did I leave anything out of what you would add to me?
You're so right.
Without labels, everyone's path is different. Even take off the labels. If sometimes we hear a label and we go, oh, I don't know about that, so I'm not going to look into it. Well, don't take off the label for a moment. Just listen to the words that, like, for example, that Zinnia is using today about, tapping into your personal power. If words and energy resonate with you, then that, to me, it means you're being called, right? That means that message is meant for you. Take the judgment and labels off and follow the energy, follow the message, because that's when I believe something is there for you.
And that's all, it's the inner space. It's the inner world. It's the inner power. It's the inner joy. It's inside. So, the women that are waking up right now, they're quickly finding that the external world is not giving them all that they promised. And what women need is meaning, joy, love, satisfaction. Those are the things that light up a woman. And when she's not getting that outside of herself, she's going to go inside. And we're very lucky that younger women have access to yoga and retreats and meditations, and there's so much more access than people that are now in their 50s and 60s when they were younger. So they're able to go to those outlets and to really just tap in or experiment or begin that self-discovery process and explore. And then it's really up to them how deep they want to go, how deep they want to go into living from a place of joy, being connected to themselves, keep practicing being connected. Because it's not a one-time event, right, Linda?
Oh, no, darling. In fact, I have a saying that if you meet someone, especially on this path, if you meet someone that says they're there, run like hell because there is no there. We are always healing. We are always transforming. We are always shedding layers of stuff to get closer to our divine light. So this is a journey. I mean, stuff comes up for each and every one of us all the time, whether you've been on the path for 25 years or 5 years. It doesn't matter because you're in this human existence. The stuff is still going to come up. And I tell women when it does, be gentle with yourself, turn to resources and wisdom that is out there so you have support around you. And do you notice, too, a lot of women, they want to push through like, oh, no, I don't want to feel this. This isn't what I signed up for. And they think that if they don't deal with it, it's over. And I say, no, honey, it comes back magnified 10 times at the least convenient moment.
It's so true, at the least convenient moment.
Yes. And because it will always come back. So when we're struggling with something, we really need to do the inner transformational work. And you and I talk about this in our personal chats, both of us. It's, sometimes stuff comes up at an inconvenient time. You could be for a business owner, you could be in the middle of a big business venture. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, this old emotional stuff is coming up. Do I really want to deal with this now? And I say, oh, yes, you do.
I have to, right? I remember with you were in the middle of a launch of a bestseller, and your site went down.
Oh, yeah.
And you handled it with so much grace, and you trusted that everything would come into, you'd get the resources to help you, and it did.
It did.
And weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah, and I had to hold that space because, and like I do a little, full transparency. When it first happened, I have a little process I go through. It's like feel it and release it, right? So it's almost like a reset. So I felt it. I was like, oh, my God, all my websites are down in the middle of one of my biggest launches of the year. Then I allow that. I process it. I release it. And then you saw my video that I posted to everybody. I went into the joy mode and went and got a pedicure and stayed in joy and told everyone, listen, the technology gremlins have my site. I promise I'll add 2 extra days at the end of the launch. Let's all envision the technology angels coming to take care of this issue. And in the meantime, I'm going to get a pedicure. Now, Zinnia, even 2 years ago, I wouldn't have been there. I would have went into reaction mode. And that's what I'm talking about. This is all a journey. And we'll talk about that more in a moment. We will be back in a moment with Zinnia Gupte of ShaktiPriestess.com.
A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
What if you could live the life of your dreams, the life that you came here to live? What if you were able to honor your gifts and passions, turn them into a heart-centered business, and make a big difference in the world, all while living authentically and doing the work you love? It is possible. Patricia Young, president and founder of InnerProsperityAcademy.com, knows that awakening to your own truth, aligning with your life purpose, and having your own business is one of the most exciting and courageous things you will ever do in your life. Patricia helps spiritual, sensitive, and growth-oriented women start, grow, or transition into a business they love so they can go from working for a paycheck to working for a mission. For supportive resources, programs, and more to help you do just that, visit InnerProsperityAcademy.com.
OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
This is Terry Van Horn, and I want to invite you to join me for my weekly radio show, Healing Light, on OMTimes Radio every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On Healing Light, we want to bring love, light, and blessings into your world. You can find out more about us at www.healinglightonline.com. Blessings.
Hi, this is Carly Simon for Lifebeat. The music industry fights AIDS. The AIDS crisis isn't over. There have been amazing scientific breakthroughs, but people are still dying, and your local AIDS organization needs your help more now than ever. Volunteer and make a difference.
The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Hi, you're listening to Inspired Conversations with Linda Joy. That's me. I'm so glad you're here for today's sacred conversation. I have my dear friend Zinnia Gupte here of ShaktiPriestess.com, and we were just talking about how sometimes things come up, and we may think it's easier not to deal with them. But the reality is we need to. And I'm talking about emotional stuff. Could be spiritual. It could be anything that keeps appearing over and over in your life. And let's talk about that, Zinnia, because I think some people have that illusion that what they stuff down and bury is done, right? And you and I know that it's not that way.
Oh, no. Oh, no. This is why I keep coming back to that inner space, because we, as our Western society and culture, now pretty much global, if we can't see it and it's invisible, then we don't need to deal with it. That's kind of our mindset. However, the subconscious layer of our beings, the hidden emotions, our childhood landscape, that's all in the inner realms. And we have to connect with that through journaling, through reflection, through, counseling, through feminine conversations, circles, and support. We have to keep going there. Otherwise, if we don't tend to that part of ourselves, everything that we've not looked at, reflected on, healed, cleared out, is just going to come right back up and say, hello, I'm still here.
Exactly, and I believe it comes magnified, and I think of it this way, and I've written about this in the past, that the divine, the universe, whatever the name is to your source, first when there's an issue, right, an issue we're trying to avoid, it will give you the little, flick on the ear, loving, gentle flick, like, hey, honey, I see you're trying to ignore this, but I recommend that you don't. But, of course, we just brush our hand to get the flick off our ear. And then it gets magnified a little more, and you ignore it, and you might get the slap aside the head from the divine, from the universe, like, hello, I'm trying to warn you here. You're avoiding this, and it's going to be coming. But, again, you ignore it. And for me, Zinnia, I was a very slow learner. I always waited for the damn cosmic 2x4 and would be brought to my knees by whatever that life situation was that I had been ignoring. And now I try to listen a lot faster. I'm not perfect, but I'm aware now. Do you notice that in your own journey?
Oh, yes. So for me, my cosmic 2x4, as yours, hit with no warning, no kind of okay, I'm coming. So when I was a child, there was a lot of abuse in my family. I come from India, and Indian women are treated, quite subserviently. That's changing. However, there is that way of being in our culture. And so I witnessed a lot of abuse in my family, mental abuse, emotional abuse, even physical abuse. And as a child, I was also a part of that. And so I learned that I can't express my gift or ask for what I want because I'll be punished, okay? So I can't ask for what I want. I can't get what I want. So I had to keep love and survive, I have to do what other people want me to do. So that that belief led me into life, into my career, into my relationship, and I was never asking for what I wanted. I was always asking for permission. I never thought that I had self-worth and that I was worthy enough and I could get that big promotion or the man of my dreams. And so I just kept settling little by little. And then when I finally was in my marriage for 12 years with the person I was with for that length of time, I continued that behavior, not asking for what I want, pleasing, and then something erupted in me, like so much resentment. And then with the divorce, life came and said, okay, are you going to look at this now? Are you going to look at your childhood, not asking for what you want, not going for what you want in your life, not stepping into your power, not following your true destiny, your true calling, not honoring your gifts? Are you going to look at this stuff now? Because we're going to take away your house, the city, your husband, everything. So you can look at this.
Yep.
So I don't want women to have to go through that if they don't have to. I want women to connect to themselves and have a practice of sacred self-care and sacred self-love and constant connection, so they don't have to go through those cosmic 2x4s. Because Linda, those cosmic 2x4s, they rip your heart out. Your life gets shattered, and you have to pick up the pieces and reinvent yourself. And that takes time and energy.
Yeah, and it's so many. We're talking about when I use the term cosmic 2x4s, it's in any area of your life. It could be that little niggling thought that says, hey, you haven't been eating good, or you haven't even gone to the doctors in a year, and then you wonder why a severe health crisis comes. Or it could be that relationship, something that you keep going, oh, no, our relationship's fine, and we don't work on it. It can happen in any area of our life when we don't do the inner work is the only thing I can think of. And no, it's not fun, but the alternative is even tougher. Take it from two women who have been through there, as I'm sure you have as a listener. And as our time together comes to an end, Zinnia, I want to talk about, we have another few moments, I want to talk about your desire. If you have one message for women, what would it be? One message that they could walk away with today. Has anything come to you from your heart?
Oh, my gosh. Well, I would like to say a message from Messages from Shakti. If you don't mind, I would love to share from my heart. Yes. And a message that I have for women today is be the heroine of your life, not the victim. And what this means is a woman who roars, a woman who shows up authentic. She creates space for others to do the same. So speak your truth, walk in your truth, roar. And the mantra for this is, I speak my truth. I speak my truth. I speak my truth. And it's freedom to be able to speak your truth and to be who you are and not be victimized by what the world wants you to be and what the world's expectations of you are. Just to know that you're enough, that you speak your truth, that's freedom. So please be the heroine of your life, not the victim.
What a beautiful message to leave everyone with. And one of the things that I notice about your work too, Zinnia, is especially in your writing, you write for many places, but you've written for Aspire magazine, is you're great at giving tips, right, for being on this path, whether it's, 7 steps to feminine empowerment. It's about, or you give the guidance in clear, concise language that helps them get it, right? And what I mean by that is sometimes we're drawn to a path, but we don't know what to do. And your style of connecting and serving makes it very clear with strategies and tips of how to tap into their intuitive power, how to enhance their manifesting power. And I love that about you. So I'm so excited that you're sharing this whole Shakti message with the world, because I really believe that that this is the new paradigm.
Bless you, Linda. Thank you so much. Thank you for seeing me and honoring my true spirit and my gifts. And as I see you and I honor your gifts, you're such an inspiring feminine leader, and the new way is to lift as we climb, right? As we inspire other women, we nourish other women, we support other women, we lift them up as we climb. And that's the new model. We're not competing. We're creating more leaders. One leader creating another leader, and that leader creating more leaders. So this is why we're here, Linda. I really, truly believe that, our paths have been brought together to awaken more women and to keep awakening ourselves and reminding one another to be loving and deserving of this life that we're creating for ourselves.
It's so true. And I want to thank you for being here with me, for sharing this message here today, and just for being a part of my inner circle and a friend. And love you, my friend.
Love you so much, Linda, and you are love and joy. May I just say to all your listeners, they're in for a treat. You'll just come with so much content and beautiful soul voices that have a lot of love to share with the world. So I'm just really excited for your show. I wish you so much luck, and I can't wait, to listen to all the exciting guests you have coming on.
Oh, it's been beautiful to shine a spotlight on so many amazing women. So thank you, Zinnia, for being here.
Thank you. Thank you, Linda. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I want to thank everyone for being here at Inspired Conversations. And I invite you to listen in every Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, for more conversations just like the one we had today. Conversations with visionary women who are here to share their feminine wisdom to support you in living your best life. For even more inspiration, claim your free subscription to Aspire magazine, which includes over 40 transformational gifts. And you can do that at subscribe2aspire.com. Until next time, choose love, choose joy, choose happiness.
Thanks for listening to Inspired Conversations with publisher Linda Joy. Join our sacred space every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern and meet leading female visionaries, empowering authors, heart-centered female entrepreneurs, coaches, and healers. Inspired Conversations with Linda Joy is a soulful venue where guests share the obstacles they've overcome, along with wisdom and lessons learned on their personal journey that led them to the transformational work they do in the world. Inspired Conversations to empower you on your path to authentic and soulful living.